Gen Alpha, truly the real lost generation. The zero social skills, the bleak and dystopian future they're gonna get by the time they reach adulthood. And don't forget the zero non-existent attention span. It's all becoming real. What's up, guys? In this video, we're going to be talking about Gen Alpha. For those of you who don't know who Gen Alpha is the generation after Gen Z and the generation before Gen Beta. And I think us Gen Zers are going to raise the Gen Beta generation. But nonetheless, Gen Alpha is truly a generation that I feel bad for. I mean, it's really not their fault for why the way that they are. I honestly blame the millennial generation for raising Gen Alpha like this. I mean, these motherfuckers were basically given a tablet since they came out of the womb. Now, I'm not saying every single millennial is raising their child like this, but I know some that definitely are following the iPad parenting type way of raising their child. Like, I understand kids can sometimes be a pain in the ass to deal with, so that's why they just throw them their iPad or their phone to their child in order to shut them up. But they don't seem to understand the real consequences of this decision. And don't even get me started on their sense of humor. Now, I'll admit that us Gen Zers, our sense of humor isn't the best. In fact, it's terrible. But holy shit, Gen Alpha is just next level. I'm not saying Gen Z had a perfect childhood. I mean, some of us Gen Zers grew up with shit like Vine, MLG memes, and Uncle Grandpa. But at least we grew up with a lot of sensical things as well, like our childhood mobile games, our childhood movies, you know, stuff like that. Gen Alpha, on the other hand, makes our sense of humor, and not to mention some of the cringy shit we grew up with, look good. I mean, that is an impressive achievement on its own. Like, Vine and MLG was cringy enough, but CoComelon, Skibidi Toilet, and also pregnant videos are just in a league of its own. Next thing you know, in 15 years time, Gen Alpha is gonna say some shit like,
if you didn't grow up watching CoComelon, Skibidi Toilet, etc., you did not have a childhood.
Which to me is pretty darn crazy. At least our childhood sources of entertainment were somewhat sensical. And not to mention, we were also raised with somewhat of a balance between technology and going out to play outside and have a social life. Us Gen Zers were really one of the last generations to have a soulful childhood. Unfortunately, I can't say the same for Gen Alpha. Also, keep in mind that by the time Gen Alpha reaches adulthood, they will be very different compared to the rest of the generations, mainly because of the iPad parenting style way that they were raised with. They will pretty much have no attention span and no social skills. If you think Gen Z and millennials have it economically different, boy, you are wrong. Gen Alpha are gonna have it way worse than us. By the time every single Gen Alpha are over 18, inflation will have skyrocketed. House prices will pretty much be unaffordable for everyone, and most of the jobs would have been replaced by AI. Pretty much everything will be 10 times as expensive in 2040 as compared to today. It's like when you take away the iPad or phone away from these Gen Alpha kids, it's pretty much the equivalent of taking away the homeless guy's meth or heroin away from them. They just go into absolute madness. If you're a parent of Gen Alpha kids and you complain about your children turning out like this, then I'm sorry, you're just an idiot. You have no right to complain about your children for why the way that they are, because you are the ones that raised them to be like that. And it's not like I blame these kids either. Like, I do truly feel bad for them. However, I think that is going to wrap up today's video. If you really enjoyed this video, make sure, to just give this video a like, subscribe with post notifications on, and comment something positive. However, see you guys in the next video.